Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
So I'm at the airport, walking through the airport, and this gentleman comes up to me and says, "You look like a celebrity." So then he's asking me all these questions, and then finally gets to the point where he's like, "Oh, you need a travel partner?" And I'm like, "Are you saved? Huh? Are you saved?" Yeah. How do you know you're saved? Silence. Okay. Well, now is the perfect opportunity for me to evangelize, right? So, are you ready to hear about Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and accept Him today? Walks off. That's why I'm gonna be out here single for a little while.
Main cabin 3,
And that's okay with me. If the dude don't fast, don't pray, we ain't dating. Ew.
Hi ladies, it's Yanie and I'm back with another video, and I wanted to give you a quick update on the Derrick Jaxn situation because a lot of things have unfolded over the last few days after she announced that she was going to be mentoring and creating a healing retreat program for women who are trying to leave abusive relationships or relationships that involve infidelity. So I wanted to talk about what recently happened. There was a background check that was done by a lawyer here on YouTube. Her name is Simone, and she went digging, and did she find some things? Oh, yes, she did. Also, shout out to She's Fabulous. She sent me this screenshot in my DMs of the comment section that was under the video that I just played in this video. And it states here, according to him, they're still together and married. And of course, people are responding like, what? Then she responds again and she says, yep. He gave one of his classes yesterday. My sister and I were in the live stream and he said he was still married. Apparently, he was working from home, the one he shared with her, and his kids were home as well. If this is in fact true, I want to give the definition for what a scammer is. A scammer is a person who commits fraud or participates in a dishonest scheme. Now, let's get into the background check. So, an attorney by the name of Simone did a background check on Derrick Jaxn on her YouTube channel called Girl, Is This Legal? And you should definitely subscribe because she gives away free background checks on her YouTube channel. So I would head over there and subscribe and support. Let's get into the background check that was conducted on her live stream.
Yes. So what we're doing now is we are about to hop into Derrick Jaxn. You are right on time. We're going into Derrick Jaxn. So I'm just going to kind of lay out the backstory. So anybody who's not even familiar with Derrick Jaxn, it's okay. Because we're going to give you the backstory. We're going to give you the information. And most importantly, I want to let y'all know with this Derrick Jaxn situation, this is going to be less a Derrick bashing or a Denia bashing or what have you. This is an opportunity for us to see literally how important background checks are, no matter who it is you're dating or marrying. So let's go ahead and get started here. Divorces are filed by women. And it's been found that oftentimes we file not because we actually want a divorce, but because we want them to take us seriously and to actually implement and do the changes that we're begging them to do. So, consistent with the statistics, she had filed. Here we go. Then dismissed it basically a month later. Then a year later, And 2023 was his first cheating scandal that was revealed by Tasha K. Tasha K came out with one of his little mistresses and did all that. And that's when we get the bonnet video, okay, where she was out here looking crazy with the bonnet. Then apparently at the point when Tasha K outed all of that, she actually was already aware of the cheating and all of that. They had worked through it privately. So basically we're finding out late, but she already knew about all that. Here's a clip.
What's going on, guys? Derrick Jaxn here, and today I'm joined by my...
No, wait, that's the bonnet video, but I want to show you guys where she cussed us off. So the bonnet video is important because I could tell how tired she was with him in life, because listen, this is what she wore, y'all. This is what she had on to reveal herself to the world as this dating guru's wife. I mean, we were all really concerned and confused because we really felt like, why would you come on Beyonce's internet looking crazy like that? But it happened.
Every person speaking against the names Danae Jackson and Derrick Jaxn in mockery, accusations, slanders, and lies, may the mercies of God be withdrawn from you. May your husbands and wives become widows. Let your children become fatherless. Let your seed become vagabonds on the earth. Let the words of your mouth and your words of your hands be returned back to you. Let it go down your throat and choke you slowly until your days become few on the earth. The word of God says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. You've been warned. And if you want to know where that is at in the Bible, go to Psalm 109. Go to Psalm 35, go to Psalm 140, go to Psalm 141.
So there we go. So it's actually a scripture that she used. So it was not cuss words. It was a scripture where she was basically like, back up and get up off me. Okay. And leave us alone. So she was not playing with people no more. Okay. Not anymore. The other thing she talks about is how he very much like provided her this dream life. She talked about how she was a stay-at-home mom. You know, at the time she had the one child, as we said, before marriage. And then she had her second child. Let's say they got married in when she got married, she was actually pregnant with her second child. So them babies was coming out, pop, pop, pop. Now she has 3 total children. And I believe they are all under the age of 8 years old at this point. Okay. So this is her now describing, though, how she dealt with his cheating and her solution, how she felt like she was going to try and over time convince him to stop and to pick her. All right. So with Mr. Derrick, he's got a lot going on. But actually, before we go into that, let's take a look at her initial divorce decree. The one that she filed in 2020. Now, the divorce decree, the divorce that they're currently going through, which is in Texas, which is where I'm based, those documents it appears that they're sealed because I tried very hard to get access to them and I could get the docket. I could see all of that. But when I clicked the documents, they were telling me I'm not an attorney on the case. So basically mind my business. All right. So this is, I'm going to put on the screen here we go. Let's do it this way. The divorce docs. Very interesting to me. There we go. I'm making sure I'm showing the redacted ones. Now, you guys, the redactions here are going to be a lot lighter than usual because we know who we're talking about. So I am making sure that like now, mind you, the addresses that we're looking at and we're dealing with, he doesn't live there anymore. Right? So I still redacted them though. Just because, but just know, so if you see a piece of an address, just know these are not places they live at any longer. Any longer. Okay, here we go. All right. So, okay, yes, and this is the redacted version. So the main thing I wanted to draw your attention to, y'all, on this divorce is, now she specifically said, with the current divorce, what ended up happening was, she was all upset with him. She went to Colorado. After the cheating scandal correction, when they were trying to work through it, the one that we found out about in 2021, she said she packed up all her stuff. She went back home to Colorado where she was from, brought her kids, stayed with her mother. and was there for 8 months. She had different things she required of him, including that he needed to they needed to do couples therapy, work through that. She needed to go to therapy for her personal issues as well. And that she wanted them to renew their vows. She also stated, stay with me, this is going to be very important. She stated that she had decided that Atlanta was too much. He was too tempted, blah, blah, blah. They needed a fresh start. So he did not agree to Colorado. He said he wanted them to move to Texas. All right. So this is, and then when they, basically there was an 8-month period prior to them getting back together where she wanted them to just work everything out. So this divorce petition was filed at the beginning of that 8-month period. Okay. This was filed, it looks like, this was in August of, what did we say? Like 2020? Here we go. Yeah. August of 2020. Here she is. Here's what matters is interesting to me. The current divorce, he filed on irreconcilable differences, but she filed claiming infidelity. She filed claiming infidelity. Adriana, please bring up the attorney talking about the infidelity portion of that. Make sure that clip is there if it's not already. So yeah, so now she's claiming infidelity, but back then in 2020, she was just saying, it was irretrievably broken, basically irreconcilable differences. Here's why it matters. Because in states like Texas and Colorado and Georgia, if you say adultery, instead of having to split things 50-50, you can get a disproportionate share. So you might be able to get 60%, 65% if you are the innocent spouse that got cheated on, right? So again, before, when she was really, trying to work on everything, it was, no adultery. Now she's going for what she wants. She said, adultery, give me more than half. All right, so they had 2 minor kids back then, one born in 18, one born in 16, blah, blah, blah. Here's the other thing I care about. This is what matters. Petitioner requests that all real and personal property be equitably divided between the parties. Okay, that means she's clearly assuming that they have real estate and that they have personal property. So usually like cars and stuff like that. Otherwise, you don't put real property if you don't own any real property, right? If you look at someone in New York City or someplace where in the marriage, they never own or they don't currently own any real estate, this is what you put. Number 13, she said she requests that the marital debt be equitably distributed. That was smooth, right? Because otherwise debt is split 50-50. But here, she was a stay-at-home mom the whole marriage. In fact, she even worked for his business, helping him do his influencing business. At the height, she said he had 4 million followers across platforms. So then in 15, she says, petitioner is substantially dependent upon respondent. That's right. She's a stay-at-home mom taking care of his kids. And she states that she's dependent for her support and maintenance, and that she is entitled to receive a lump sum and or periodic alimony from the respondent on both temporary and permanent basis. Now, mind you, she filed this in Georgia. Georgia will do just that. But watch what happens when he lures her to Texas and then files in Texas. It's going to be different. It also says the respondent is in Derrick should be required to pay her reasonable attorney fees, litigation on a temporary and permanent basis, blah, blah, blah. Where you file is super important, you guys. Super, super important. Texas is an at-fault state. All at fault, meaning the person who is the cheater, basically will be in trouble. California is not at fault. That's probably because in California, they nasty and they do it to whoever and whatever. So in California, they don't care if it's his fault. In Georgia, it appears here that that might be at fault too. I'm not sure. So anyway, this is the petition. So remember, she says she wants half of the real estate and the personal property. Now, note, in the interview, she also talked about how she didn't know anything. She was a stay-at-home mom. He controlled the money. He worked. He did all of that. She wasn't even involved initially in his business. She started to help due to the fact that, she wanted to keep tabs of what he was doing, both, at work and with his penis. So fast forward. So now let's look at what came up on the background check. Oh boy, we'll go to this first. Hold on, let's go to assets. We're gonna go to assets first because that's really before you file for divorce, you better make sure you are very clear on what assets y'all have or don't have. During the interview, she talked a lot about their homes, their properties, da 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 da. This was the first. Remember, I did a background check and I got all of their addresses, da 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 da, because I wanted to know, like, hey, what are they going to be fighting for? What kind of assets is it that she's anticipating? Now, mind you, they were together since 19, but he married her because of the kid. He married her not till 2018, and the first time she filed for divorce was in 2020, but now they filed again in 22. So that means only 4 years of marriage. This was the first house they lived in. Y'all, look at this. There are even better pictures here. Let me zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in a little more. But it's a nice house. It's worth like about $615,000 now. They lived in it a few years ago, but they rented it. I was like, oh, okay, we got a little rent situation. That's okay. But for him to be making the millions, allegedly, from all of that, I was a little disappointed. I even checked the history to say, well, did they used to own it? No. Here is the sales information on the property. It's got grantee, grantor, all the people over the years. 2013, they basically would have still been in college. So 2014, 2016, no, these are not even, it's not his LLC, it's none of the above. This is where they lived and they rented it. Next up, she talked about the condo. Well, we all know a condo is very specific. A condo is what you own. This dude had an apartment. You see this lease now? He had an apartment, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But my point is, during the course of their marriage, you're making all of these millions. You're relying on your spouse, right, to be building equity, to be building assets with these millions that he's making from social media, according to him. And the point of this, y'all, is if you're going to allow him to control all of the money, you know he's cheating and that you may need to leave any day now, you better be damn sure what you own, what you don't own, the debts you have, right? Because you could be 50-50 responsible for the debts. Even as a stay-at-home mom, you want to have assets like a home or something like that you can obtain in a divorce, because anything in that bank account, that Negro will spend. So again, this was the condo that he used to go to all the time to film that he swore he needed. And y'all, this is the big house. So she talked in the interview a lot about having the 9,000 square foot home that was so beautiful and so gorgeous. Look at it. Estimated at about $2 million. She said it was in the same neighborhood as like Offset and some of those people. So I was like, oh, okay, good, girl. 1.8 million, good. Girl, get your 50% of that. Or, if a court finds infidelity, you could potentially get 65, 60, 70, it just varies. And then I pulled up the ownership history. Not ever. Never. They never owned it. Never. So none of it. Never. None of this. In fact, it was in, it was in Fulton County. I checked Fulton County. Look at these records. Derrick Jaxn has never owned a property in Fulton County ever. I did the same thing for Forsyth County. That's the other county they lived in. He's never owned a property ever. So poor little stay-at-home mom is out here thinking, oh, okay, in this divorce, we're going to have to split assets. What assets? You don't have none. You don't have nothing. You let this man control your mind, your heart, and your future, and your kids' future, who you didn't trust. Baby, if you don't trust him with his penis, if you don't trust him with his penis, you definitely should not be trusting him with your finances.
I have to pause the video right there because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are like in shock about this information. And the reason is because in the interview that she did, she was so adamant about how they own these properties. And it was almost like you would have thought she signed the paperwork herself. She looked over the documentation before she got herself involved legally with these properties and things like that. Come to find out, they don't own anything. And it's crazy because she helped him with his business. She did all the behind the scenes stuff. And when it comes to business and all the behind the scenes stuff, it has a lot to do with expenses, profits, and it has a lot to do with taxes and things like that and budgeting. So it's crazy how she did not know that they did not own any properties. And I wonder if it's because she gave him that much control over their finances where she just simply did not know.
And if you were checking bank statements or credit card statements and so much of that, you would be able to find out where this money is going and what's happening with it. But he on purpose didn't want her to know. So bless her heart. In her divorce pleading, she is fully expecting that they have assets and they have not one. Even their cars are not paid off. Their cars are either leased or have notes on them. But check this out. I took it a step further. Not only have they never owned a home during the marriage, right? He can't get a home. Here's why. Y'all look at this foolishness. We did the assets, liens. This mofo literally ran up an Amex card of over $35,000. I say on hoes, although I haven't looked at the actual bill, but let's take a look. Let's just take a look here.
What's going on, guys? Derrick Jaxn here. It is 12:30 in the morning, and I am still in my warehouse because that's how it goes around Black Friday time. But I wanted to come to y'all, man, and be just 100% real, just transparent with you all. Last year around this time, we completely sold out of inventory in less than 3 days. And the way things are going now, even though I've more than tripled the inventory this year, almost maxed out as much as we can hold, we're going to sell out again. And I don't want it to go like last year where a lot of you didn't get a chance to take advantage of the 40% off sale with code BLACKOFF. But I'm running it again, and I won't be able to run this again this year. So right now is the time. If you haven't gotten this game and you've been thinking about getting this game, head on over to msmcardgame.com or click the link wherever you see it in the caption or whatever. Head on over and get your card games so your date night convos, your game night convos with your girls can be lit like the other 250,000 customers who have supported us. But thank you guys for your support, man. We got y'all covered on the shipping. Peace.
American Express is not playing with him. They're not playing with him at all. So they are suing him. Mind you, this is 2021. Okay, this is August of 21. That means it was March when the cheating scandal came out and they were working through their marriage and all of that. So that was during all of this. Here we go. Amex is suing this fool for $33,972. He ran up the bill, ran off on the plug. Now, here we go. When you have debts like this, you can't get a car note, another car note. You better be paying cash for a bunch of stuff. But stay with me. I'm going to roll back. Here we go. Make sure it's, yeah. These, ladies and gentlemen, is a list of his liens. This fool got 7 tax liens. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 tax liens. And here's why tax liens are so gosh darn dangerous. And this is also why it's important that when you're dealing with a man, especially a cheater or somebody where you're like, hey, I might have to dip up on him, you need to really make sure you understand the finances and make sure that they're taken care of. You need to have access to every bank account. At least the accounts that the household bills are being paid in. And you need to know how much these bills are. If she knew how much the bills are, she would know in the 9,000 square foot house that they got to be renting it and cannot be owning it based on how the bills are being paid. Here, though, here's his liens. Y'all, he owes, and these are not like old. He owed $1,700 in 2021. This is to the state of California because he has shop Derrick Jaxn where he would sell items and stuff like that. And I guess he wasn't paying you have to pay like a sales tax to each state, and California is one of them. So he owed $1,768 that year. And then at another point, it was $1,783. There's another $1,700. This one that's also California, slightly different amount. Here we go. Watch this one, y'all. Look at this one. Georgia. He owes the state of Georgia. What does that say? $27,000 in back taxes. $27,000. You can't get no house with that. And then that was for, I had those documents, and he owed them another year. He owed them $5,800. Look at this. Fulton County, $5,800 in back taxes. Okay. That was for the period of 2016, the year of 2016. Look at this one though, $27,000. That was for the year of 2017. Now, yes, it was a while back, but this $27,000, well, it's no wonder he couldn't get them a house. You cannot buy, you will not get approved for a house with an unpaid tax lien. You must satisfy it. Now, I then saw that here we are, it was 2019. You can see the date here. In 2019, he paid off the tax lien, the $27,000. Great. He paid that off. That was during the marriage, right? So maybe he was preparing, I don't know, to be able to purchase them a home together. Because as we know, a few months later, she did file for the divorce in 2020. So he satisfied that. But yeah, he still had satisfied this $33,000 to Amex. Again, that was a 2021 case. And as of now, it currently shows that it's pending. It does not show it's dismissed, which is usually what's filed when someone satisfies their debts. So somebody said, how do you make millions of dollars and can't pay off your debts? It's irresponsibility. It's irresponsibility is what it is. And again, you can't be letting these men both cheat on you and squander your money and your resources. These people got married, back in 2018? You know, houses were a lot cheaper, especially in Atlanta and other places. Not to mention, we were out here having 3% interest rates. There should be something there. Someone says, the next person I date, I will happily pay you for a background check. There should be something that should be done. But let's talk about the last move that he did, the most important move. Men who are like this, chessmate thing that he did, because men who are cheaters like this, they think they're always the smartest person in the room. They think they know better than everybody. They smarter than everybody. And that's why they think they can get away with it. What he did was this. He got that girl to leave Colorado, where she had her support system, her mom and everything, not go back to Georgia, not stay in Colorado, but to come to Texas. And here's why. Ooh-wee. So let's say that's not it. Here we go. Add this back. So we did the liens. We did the assets. That was the first house. That was the condo. This was the house that it seems, if you watch the video, it seems that when she would talk about that 9,000 square foot house, she felt like she was a homeowner. She wasn't talking about no renter. She was like, and we had this and we had that. Somebody said, why is she giving advice? She's probably telling you what not to do. Forum shopping. Here's why. Hold on. Yeah. I'm going to pull it down. Let me pull it back down. So here's why. Texas child support is in a league of its own. It is in a league of its own. Here we go. Let me copy this. Here we go. Texas child support is in a league of its own because it's one of the few states that has a cap. Texas caps how much child support. That's right. They create a maximum on how much child support you could be on the hook for. All right, so Texas child support versus other states. I just want to make sure I break this down for you guys because most cases, you've always lived in the same state. You don't have a choice. You can't go anywhere else. But if you are in a divorce situation or even a situation where your baby daddy lives in another state, before you decide what state you want to file in, you better get a consultation with an attorney in that state as well as one in your state. And here's why. Texas child support, like I said, is janky. Texas child support is capped at effectively at $9,200. So look at this. This is an example, assuming the man makes $50,000 per month, okay? Per month. If he makes $50,000 per month, and let's just say his monthly taxes are $5,000, I put it at 10% because of the deductions on it. It could be more, but the point is it doesn't matter. And he has 3 kids. He's not even paying health insurance for the kid because he's that raggedy. Then the child support calculator for Texas says your monthly child support is $2,760. Now that's not a small amount, but the issue is when he makes $50,000 a month, that's very small compared to that. Hell, that's not enough money for you to both keep a roof over their head and pay rent. Because it's 3 kids, right? 2 girls and a boy. So you need 3 bedrooms. You can't get no 3-bedroom for that and have enough for food. Somebody's going to be on food stamps. Hell, I own a Section 8, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And Section 8 for next year is going to be $2,300 for that 2-bedroom and 2-bath. So even if I let her move into my little Dallas Section 8 condo, she still gonna have to get up and go to work or get her some food stamps to feed those babies, because she can house them, but she can't feed them. Now check this out. Now, but let's compare it to, for example, California. California, same amount of money, $50,000. This is her having the kids majority of the time. Him seeing the kids only 20% of the time, which is what it is when you are the other. That's standard for the other parent. $13,678. $13,678. So he picked Texas, or she threw out Texas, and he said, oh, yeah. You're not going to convince me he didn't go and speak to an attorney to confirm and say, you know what, we're going to pick one of the few states that has it has no state income tax. So that's great. Now you won't have to worry about all those tax liens to the state of Georgia anymore. All right. But then it also has a child support cap. So literally in Texas, whether you make $50,000 per month or $9,200 a month, right? 92, what is that? 9 times 12. What is $9,200 a month? That's closer to, I don't know. Somebody tell me, put it in the chat. Whether you make $9,200, basically $9,200 or $50,000, your child support is set at the same. And that is because after $9,200 a month, Texas does not increase your child support if that is what he earns. I'm not saying what he pays you, but if he earns over $9,200 a month, they figure, it's Texas. You don't need that much to take care of a kid. And they say, hey, if he got to get up and go to work, so do you. But it doesn't help women like herself. She has a college degree, but she has been taking care of his kids and his business for at least the last 5 years. The other thing about Texas does not do alimony unless you've been married a minimum of 7 years. Well, part of the reason why Derrick filed in October is it's reported that BET and BET Plus came to him and was offering him a TV show. And he did not want to sign the deal while in the marriage, because then he'd have to give her half of his earnings, half of the money he would be receiving from the deal. So you think it wasn't just by chance? You think it was by chance that he picked Texas? Oh no, this was gamesmanship. He chose to go ahead and file before he accepted the BET contract. But guess what? Come on, everybody, put Denia's Cash App back up here, because we're gonna support Denia. Because guess what? If Denia's lawyers are able to confirm that offer was presented and on the table prior to the divorce literally being final, even though he has chosen to push it off, she can still move to get a portion of that. Why? Because it can be considered intentional underemployment. And intentional underemployment means, hey, I have this job offer and I'm choosing not to take it or not to start this job because I don't want to have to pay child support based on that income. Now, given that Texas has that cap, his child support wouldn't be any different based on that. However, alimony potentially would be. Now, we said alimony in Texas, you have to be married a minimum of 7 years. They've barely been married 5, right? So that's going to be difficult to get. However, if she's able to show things such as the fact that she was a kid's primary caregiver, she hasn't worked in years, because she was taking care of the kids according to their own agreement, she may be able to get some limited alimony for a few years to allow herself to get on her feet. Somebody said he filed in Texas for that reason. I believe so.
Hey guys, so like most of you, I watched the Dear Future Wifey podcast with Yoni Tribe. And as a divorce attorney, here's what caught me up.
We're just filed. Y'all filed. He filed. Who initiated the divorce?
He filed. He filed on October 13th, and then I counterfiled on October 25th.
Why did you counterfile?
Adultery.
What did he file?
irreconcilable differences.
So I posted this after watching part 1 of the interview on yesterday because I already knew what was going to be in part 2. The problem that I have with Denia filing for an at-fault divorce with her basis being adultery is throughout part 1 and part 2, she tells us how she married a man whom she knew was a cheater, continued to stay in a relationship with a man whom she knew she was a cheater, and was a willing participant in this relationship. Now, Texas is an at-fault state, and if you can prove adultery as the basis for your divorce, you're entitled to a disproportionate amount of the community estate. I unfortunately don't believe that Denia should be entitled to a disproportionate amount of the community estate because I believe that this is not the basis for her divorce. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below.
I thought that was really interesting and could be a clever argument from his divorce attorney. Because remember, the first time she filed for divorce, she didn't say it was adultery. And he was cheating with just as many people back then as he is now. But back then, she was the one filing the petition. Now she's in defensive mode. So basically, what Attorney Brenda is explaining is that when you know that he was cheating pre-marriage, they've been cheating your whole relationship, and you were aware of it, right? That you don't get to get married knowing good and well you're marrying a cheater, get cheated on multiple times, right? And then at the point when he's filed divorce, be like, I don't want to be cheated on anymore. So that is a really interesting argument, but I really want women to really consider that and how you can't just yell infidelity when you know good and well he's been cheating the whole relationship, especially here, 19 years of a relationship. Because the true question you should be asking yourself is, now, what made you think he was going to stop? What incentive would this man have to stop just because y'all getting married, especially where here they got married because they had a child. He wanted to be a dating guru, and he knew he looked at a damn fool out here making a baby mama out of her, not doing the right thing, but yet telling people, oh, yeah, I'm a great guy. I am the kind of man you should aspire, to date.
Shout out to Simone. She did a great breakdown regarding the situation. It was truly informative, and I personally learned a lot. But I wanted to go ahead and give my final thoughts and opinions. But before I do so, make sure you check out her YouTube channel. Girl, Is That Legal? I'll leave a link down below in the description box. I just wanted to give my final thoughts and opinions so far when it comes to the new information that has came out. And I just want to say, I think the only reason Denia Jaxn did this interview was she was hoping that it would get Derrick Jaxn to come crawling back to her. Now, this is one opinion that I have, and it's a perspective that I have, and I truly believe that maybe she did this interview to get him to come crawling back to her. That's the only way it would make sense to speak out like this before your divorce is finalized. Another opinion that I have is, and it's a different perspective, maybe they are working together and they are trying to scam the public because it's clear that they are in a financial crisis. That could be another point of view as well, or perspective as well when it comes to this situation. Who truly knows? But I would like to know more about your opinion down below in the comment section. How do you feel about this situation? Please comment down below. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you are notified for when I upload, and I'll catch you in my next one.